Here we go. All right. We are episode 30 of the TED Show live here with Theodora Uniken Venema, right? Did I do it right?
Perfect.
Look at how beautiful she is. We are on the, I don't know what floor we're on. 18th floor of 100 South Eola,
Sanctuary.
which is beautiful, the sanctuary. And I am actually, this penthouse is absolutely beautiful. And so we're doing a different kind of show this afternoon. We are doing it remote, which I haven't done yet, except for my attempt at the bar during the Florida Realtors Association event. That did not go so well. So this is going to be so much better because we actually have a guest, and you're lucky 30. I mean, that's kind of cool. I'm very happy to have you as my 30th guest. Can you believe it? Who would think that anyone would want to listen to me for 30 episodes? She's being kind right now. All right, so I am pulling it up right now, and I want to make sure that I see everybody. I'm going to see the comments and make sure people can hear us. All right, so we've got some people watching. We've got 11 or 12 watching. Can you hear if you're on? Oh, Royce, thank you. Royce is actually here with us. We have an audience, which we've never had before. So thankfully, I don't get stage fright, and we're in good shape. All right, so Theodora is so much more quiet than I'm used to, so let's talk a little bit about you. We've been friends for, God, I don't know, 10 plus years. Citrus Club friends, real estate friends. We go to a lot of the same events. But tell everybody, you're not American native. So talk about the Netherlands, because my name is Dutch, Bogert is Dutch, and so, of course, I don't speak any of it unless I can say beer or bathroom. And I want you to tell us a little bit about what brought you over here and your journey.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here.
Thank you for the question.
You're welcome.
Yes. So my life started in Amsterdam.
All right, can you hear her? Let's make sure.
Back in Amsterdam, I had my law practice. It goes back a few years. But I had an idea that I wasn't going to sit behind a desk the rest of my life. So therefore,
What law did you practice?
International tax law.
Oh, so you went to school for international tax law.
International tax law. And then I decided I had my practice in Amsterdam. I needed to find another way to get a more broader perspective. So I wanted to set up a global business. And I decided I could start that in America.
Joe says he can't hear you. So you're going to have to talk louder.
I will talk.
This is our show. Thank you, Joe, for that.
Thank you, Joe. So with that said, I was looking for a place in America where I could start. Up comes the University of Florida. And the University of Florida invited me with open arms, and I decided to take that chance.
But didn't you say in one of the bios that I read that English was not your best language? Obviously Dutch, but did you speak other languages besides English, or had you learned it in growing up in school?
In Holland, you learn in school French, English, German, and Dutch.
Oh, you learn all four?
Yes.
But you said, I think in one of the bios, that English was the one that you were least best at.
Absolutely true. Because, as it turned out, I spent 7 years in law school. There's no English in law school. It is Dutch
all Dutch.
And all Dutch. So I had completely forgotten my English. So with that said, when I came to America, I figured I can learn this language while I'm here. I'll have to.
Right.
Up comes Gainesville. Now, I did not know at the time where Gainesville was, nor where the University of Florida
So how
was.
did you find it? Was there, you just went online and said...
Well, back in those days, no online, no computers.
Back in those days, we barely had phones, people.
Back in those days, no phones either. I was looking for a university that could host me. And the University of Florida said yes. So I was literally picking and poking around the United States of America. And the first one that said yes, I went for it.
Very cool.
So that gave me my visa. And I came to America.
And you came here, what did you do at University of Florida?
First, teach myself English. I spent most of my time in the library teaching myself English. Reading, putting little words on top of other words, thinking that must be about it. And when people would invite me to parties and invite me everywhere because I was the thing to be seen and new to Gainesville.
Right.
I had a choice. I'd say yes or I'd say no.
You didn't join a sorority while you were there?
I did.
You should have, right? You probably joined a business sorority or a legal sorority.
Phi Alpha Delta.
See, I knew it. See?
Yes.
All people who go to Gainesville become Greek in some way, shape, or form.
Greek it is.
I love it.
Yes.
Awesome.
I had a lot of Greek in my life too.
I love that too.
Yes.
Well, there's a story there. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yes. On comes the University of Florida. I like it. I decided I'm going to build my business in America. Then I had to enroll in law school again.
Oh, you had to go to law school again?
Yes.
All right, so what made you go, this is the place I want to be, though? Why not in Holland? Why not in the Netherlands?
No, in Holland my limitations would be just being a lawyer behind a desk practicing law.
Okay.
I wasn't going to
You
do
wanted
that.
to do more.
Yeah, I wanted to do more. I wanted to build my global business. So I saw an opportunity the first 3 months or so that I was in America. I had a 9-month visa, and I decided that's good enough for me. I'm going to apply to enroll in school and make this a base for my business, to be in business for myself, by myself, a global business.
Very cool.
In the real estate.
Oh, so you went to real estate, but why did you choose real estate over staying in law? Can everyone hear? Yes, we're still good? Okay.
Real estate is something that brings the Dutch to America. The Dutch have invested over 200 years in America. You brought up, you're from Breukelen in the Netherlands.
Correct. Bogert's a Dutch name, and we came over in like the early 1600s to New York.
Correct. It became Brooklyn,
Right,
New York.
right.
The Dutch have invested back in 1600, 1700, 1800 in America. This is always relating to real estate. They bring in businesses, they need real estate.
Makes sense.
So there it was.
And so you just decided, yeah, but you didn't have, did you have family that was in real estate? You just decided that's what I wanted to do. And you didn't have anyone here, so how did you get acclimated to Florida? Up to the U.S., really? Had you been here before ever on a visit?
I had never been here. I had no idea what I was getting myself
Wow.
into. And everything was very strange, I might add.
I imagine.
And I had to adapt as I went.
At least you weren't in Tallahassee, right, Kat?
That's another story.
Kat Brower's here, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, Kat. Go Gators.
Go Gators!
No, Gainesville offered me an opportunity. I said, that's good for me. I'm going to see that I make this work, set up my business, as I did. And I was always working with Dutch investors coming to America to invest their business, their real estate. They would stumble and fall like I would.
Right.
Because nobody could explain to me what works here, how it works here, how the laws are, and how the real estate is so different here, and the rules.
But you learned.
But I learned.
Okay. So, and I'm playing with the camera right here, so as long as you guys can see us and hear us, I'm going to keep asking questions. You guys are good? You can see it, Kat?
I can.
Okay, good. Yeah, but that's still a difficult thing. So you can say one thing about being in real estate, and then all of a sudden, how do you learn to sell it? How do you understand the American customs? How do you go from, the Netherlands isn't a big country compared to the U.S., so now you're in Florida. How do you learn all of that?
I learned it day by day by working with investors from the Netherlands, investing here, dealing with their issues here, dealing with their purchases here, dealing with setting up their business here. I got educated on that subject as I was here, and I got better and better and better at it. And I would help them set up their business, set up their next business, set up the next branch, and I learned as I went.
And what brought you to Orlando from Gainesville?
Business.
Okay.
As most Dutch invest in bigger cities.
They want you to speak up.
Like maybe in Houston, in New York, in Atlanta, and in Orlando, because Orlando gives a lot of opportunity. That's
Yes, it does.
what brings the Dutch community to Orlando, per se. And I see that today. The same struggles I had 30-some years ago building my business, they have today.
But you've taken your business, though. Let's talk a little bit about the business. I'm sorry, I'm going through menopause, so it's a little warm in here right now. Y'all can laugh, it's fine. So I'm a little hot and sweaty, and I don't have my usual drink, 55 drinks to the side. You went further than that. Like, if you look at your list of accomplishments and the things that you've done, this isn't just your, okay, I sell 4 houses a year realtor. You're a broker. You own Downtown Brokers LLC. You travel. You're leaving to go to back to the Netherlands. You're very involved in Aura, which we'll get to in a minute. How did you go from, okay, I know nothing about the American market, to realizing that you needed to get involved, or that you wanted to get involved with all of that?
Once I saw the opportunity, I started to teach myself, learn, look everywhere I could, start to work with partners who would teach me how the business works here, teach me the ropes of the business, and I would hand that over to my clientele and make their business worthwhile, make their business flourish. Then I get their friends and their business partners wanting to do the same, and that's how I started building that business.
But you've done more than just build. Like if you look at your resume, which is I looked at last night, you've won just about every award, but you've also gotten so many of the certifications and designations that are make you a specialist in so many different areas. What's the motivation there? I mean, how do you just want to serve everyone, which I'm sure you do, but how do you do that? How do you go out and go, okay, I can't even tell you what they are because mortgage people don't get to have designations really. You get to have like 100 of them. How do you go out and do that? What makes you go out and get one or the other?
I would always search for education, more education to be better the next time around. So I would look for designations that would help me do that. And I would look for opportunities that would help me do that. And I build on education. I keep building on more education. And I connect very well to anybody that's more educated than I am and say, teach me. And that's what
so what does that do for your client base? So when you go back over to the Netherlands next week, how is that good for your clients? Because you have an international designation of some kind, maybe multiple ones. How does that help you get business and bring business back to the States?
My clients stay clients for life. They grow with me. The more education I absorb, the more they can take benefit of that. And the more their friends, their associates take benefit of that.
Is that how it is over there? Like if somebody recognizes, because obviously they don't know how to do business here like you do. So when you go over there, the point of the trip is to educate them, and so they feel like they've got a point of reference there that speaks their language and understands what their needs are. Is that what you do when you go over?
Clients from overseas are very educated. That's rule number one. I have to be more educated than they are. They expect me to give answers to all their questions. I'm going over on Sunday, yes, to Amsterdam. I have a week of presentations that I do to groups of clients. They can ask whatever questions they have because they are building their future in America. And they have a lot of questions.
Do they want to come over here permanently, or they just want to have some sort of investment here? What's the thought process?
No, they're not looking for a permanent home. They want to do business here. They have their wealth spread around the world, as it is very uncertain in this world today.
Agreed.
They like a part of that to be in America. So they want educated answers on everything that comes up in their mind. Now, mind you, they're thinking in Dutch business and how it works over there. They also know, traveling to America back and forth, the business is very different here.
Correct.
And for that, they hire me to set them up in their business here, to have that set correctly from the start, so they don't stumble and fall.
Wait, because they're not maneuvering through everything. You've already built it up. You already know what to do.
Yeah.
So they hire you so that they can come in and it's ease of doing business here.
Correct.
Versus trying to go through and figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
Which is
saves
awesome.
Saves them a lot of time, saves them a lot of money.
So you are super involved in ORA.
Yes.
So ORA is the Orlando Regional Realtors Association, and this week happens to be, and we've had a lot of comments on this, this happens to be election week, and you are running for office. Is this the first time you've run for office? Have you run for office before?
Yes.
Is this the first time you've run for secretary?
First time I've run
All right,
for
so let's
secretary.
talk about secretary, and let's talk about you running for office. What made you decide to throw your hat in the ring this time?
I have a lot of passions. One passion is to work with my professionals that I deal with every day, that are around you here. I love to
We're
work
considering
with my,
these professionals around?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. All right.
Yes.
Just checking.
Just checking. I love to work with my communities. I've served in my communities for many, many
You
years.
have. You do
Yes.
tons of service. I agree.
And I love to always get the best outcome for my customer. So with that said, this is not my first rodeo. I've had positions within ORA over the last 10 years. Leadership positions, I've chaired many committees, and it's only natural for me to step up to secretary
Okay.
of ORA.
And so tell me about the challenges of that, because we have a whole bunch of big races going on. Like, this is a big week. We have 5 days worth of races. There are a lot of discussions out there amongst affiliates, non-affiliate realtors. We have a whole bunch of stuff that's kind of floating out there. So not only do you have to present your views and what you want to represent, what you want to bring to the table, you're also dealing with a whole bunch of other stuff, which is in every organization when you're running for offices. Nothing against Aura, it just is what it is. So tell me how you're moving. What are you trying to plan for the rest of the week to get your voice out, to get your message out? You've made a video, which I've shared before, but what else are you doing? Who are you reaching out to, and what kind of methods are you trying to implement in order to get to the most people so that you can have the most impact before Friday? Elections close Friday at 5.
I'm very involved with several brokers that support me, and their broker offices support me. So the challenge is to get videos out, speak to them, speak to their agents, and this is what I stand for. We realtors need to work together, we need to unite, and we need to have a leader, and a leader who listens, and a leader who backs you up. We realtors need a lot of things. We need a leader
Say it
that
isn't
listens.
so.
Yes. A leader who listens. Now, as we said before, I've been in a lot of leadership roles.
You have
For
a
the
ton.
past 30 years, I have held leadership positions from Amsterdam to Orlando. I've been president of Rotary twice, volunteer organization just like Aura, and I was voted president of the year of this district 6980. It takes
Why
a
is that?
minute.
What do you do? Tell me what you do different. What do you think you do
Leaders
different?
need to be uniting their members, need to be serving their members, and they need to create some excitement and have people on board. That's what they need
Do you
to
think
be doing.
do you think for, well, Aura, we'll specifically talk about that there needs to be more of that uniting instead of the divisiveness? I feel like there's definitely a divisiveness this week, especially. And it'll all come together, it usually does. But is that one of your goals, is to do more things that are uniting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so how do you feel like your experience, how does that help you bring that to the table? Because you've obviously held a million different offices, but how do you move that into Aura? How do you take an organization that's been around a long time, a very powerful organization, and you come in and put your footprint on it?
I have been part of Aura for so long, and part of Aura's committees for so long. And I have seen and observed Aura went from 4,000 to 14,000 members.
Right.
That takes even more, getting
great
realtors
point.
together, united. What does Aura serve its members? Aura needs to be there for its members. Aura needs to be serving its members. What do the members need? The members need a lot. And the members need to be able to depend on Aura, because it's a minefield out there with all the new ways you can buy a house.
That's
Why
true.
get a realtor? The branding comes in. Aura needs to really follow its realtors into the neighborhoods, into the communities, with what we do for our customers beyond real estate.
Right.
Comes in community, comes in Rotary, whichever organization. We just went through Irma. The realtors too, by the way.
Right.
Including Aura, by
Right.
the way. We need to unite. We need to help each other, because it's a pretty cruel world out there.
Agreed.
I hear people say, well, I can buy this many ways to Sunday, and it's not using a realtor, because they don't know what the realtor really does for them. So part of it is explaining to the public, what does that realtor do for you? Sure,
Where's
I
the
can say,
value?
well,
Where's the value?
The value proposition needs to be put out there for the public. This is what your realtor will do for you. Your realtor will actually support you. Your realtor will actually get more for your house than you can. And the other way around, your realtor will get you a better deal than you can yourself. And that's what we need to have.
I love that. I think that's true. And do you think that your community, because you're also very active in the community, not just real estate, but in a lot of philanthropic things, do you think that your background in that and your belief in that has helped you kind of form your way of what you want to do with Aura and what you want to do with your position when you become secretary?
Absolutely. And part of that community work is making sure that our community around us here, we're looking from the 18th floor here, understands what we offer this service for. We offer a service that benefits the public. And without it, we do not have that service. But we need to broadcast that to the public, that they know what a realtor actually stands for.
Because I think a lot of people look at a realtor as an expense rather than a service and a value. Like all of us that do our businesses, none of us get paid until the deal's closed. And I think a lot of people don't understand how to put a value on that. But we also don't educate them well enough to put the value like you were talking about earlier. I mean, they probably think that you drive around in a pretty car and live in a pretty house and you make a ton of money regardless of whether they close or not. And same with title, same with mortgage, same with everything, any ancillary service. And they don't realize that none of us really make any money until the deal closes. So we're all working on the same hope as they are, that the deal actually closes. And I think that we don't educate them well enough. And which is what you're talking about. Education on the value of what you bring to the table as a realtor.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about this listing, as my computer wants to go out on me. Talk a little bit about this listing, because we're in a beautiful penthouse, and I don't know how much we can, and we can't really show because, God, I'm not that technology oriented. I think we'll have pictures and videos up later. But we are on the 18th floor of the sanctuary, and it is gorgeous, and we are overlooking, and this penthouse is absolutely stunning. Really.
It is stunning.
I felt almost like I shouldn't. Well, we all took our shoes off, actually. I felt like it's done almost like a top-end model home, but your sellers actually live here, and the house is gorgeous. So talk a little bit about the listing, just to give, toward the end of the time, to give some
beautiful listing, as you say. These owners have brought in their art from around the world. Also, their elaborate ideas of furnishing this place. They just need to move smaller, that's about it. In the same building, in fact.
I love it.
Because they love the building. The sanctuary really stands for quality in all aspects. It has a beautiful pool area with foliage and little cabanas and elaborate. Has a large party room that's free to use for residents.
Love that.
Everybody has a storage unit besides the flat that they're in. And they thought of a lot of different things. And there's 5 elevators for only 100 some.
So how did you meet? So a lot of people want to know, how do you get a listing like this? So how did you meet them? Like, when you do your marketing, what do you do? Because a lot of realtors want to get into the higher end. And where are we at? 1.9 is this where we're at on the list price? Yeah. So a lot of realtors would like to get into that market. How do you connect with people at that level? What do you do different, or what are you involved in that would allow you to meet those kinds of people?
Well, as a realtor, you have the beautiful opportunity to market yourself. This is what I do downtown. In all the towers downtown. They found me through, again, all my qualifications, talking to others. They found me.
To your reputation,
yes.
Because you're out there.
Yep.
That's another thing I think that a lot of realtors in general, and mortgage people and title people too, we don't get out there enough. We don't realize the value of networking, because for you especially, everybody's a potential client, just like for me. And so everybody that you talk to, every networking event you go to, that could be the person that introduces you to or speaks up for you as the realtor, like here. So they found you because they checked around.
Yep.
They did their due diligence,
yep.
Which is really cool. So you didn't do anything. You just went around to the towers here and just marketed yourself. But
yep.
You also go out and do a lot of things. You're involved in Women's Council of Realtors. You're involved in Toastmasters. So you do a lot of that, and that adds to your database and adds to your credibility, I think. And talk a little bit about that involvement, because you do a lot with Toastmasters. You're very big in that.
Toastmasters, and I would say to all the leadership that's involved in the voting this week, particularly, Toastmasters, you need Toastmasters. So the general comment I get, sure, I can talk. No, that's not the point. You have to present yourself. You have to be there. If you stand up as a leader for this association, you better be able to talk, and especially talk with opposition.
Agreed.
Because you get a lot of it.
Yeah, there's. I agree with that. Bruce Elliott will probably tell you the exact same thing.
Opposition is the key. I'm sure you can talk. The opposition is the key. How do you keep a group together of such diverse interests, diverse backgrounds as one boardroom of realtors?
Right.
How can you keep that together?
Right.
Especially in volunteer associations, everybody has an opinion. Everybody's entitled to one. How do you keep that group together?
And do Toastmasters help you with that?
Toastmasters is brilliant because Toastmasters is realtors, car salespeople, whatever, mortgage people, and they all see that only when they can speak better they can further their education.
Right.
There's a lot of TV reporters there that are trying to up their ante on the reporting side.
Because people respond to that.
Yes.
They feel like if you've got that, then you've got that authority that they're looking for, that credibility again that they're looking for. All right, so we're almost at the end. Tell me a little bit about what you want to leave, or the people who are going to vote this week for secretary, or what else you want to leave, parting words of wisdom on the 18th floor.
Words of wisdom from the 18th floor.
That's it.
From the penthouse.
From the penthouse.
As realtors, we need to band together. There's too much diversity. There's too much not being able to work together. We have a big board to run, 14,000 members. It takes a leader to keep that together. It takes a leader to work with all the opinions, and we have them.
We do.
We have them. Theodora Uniken. Theodora, your secretary in 2018. And I want your vote. And I want to earn your vote. And with my experience, you heard a little snapshot of my experience, and your help, we can make our future happen.
So I love that. So if people want to check you have a video that you created. Is that on your website?
Yes.
And what's the website URL? What's the address? Do you know?
www.theodora4aura.com.
Love it. All right, so Theodora4aura.com. You've been a joy to have on. Thank you for putting up with my little sweat mess that I had up here on the 18th floor. I love you guys so much. Thank you for the second show today, episode 30. Thank you to the audience members. They were very quiet. It was crazy, but we appreciate that. And we love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Have a great one. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.